Good evening. Thank you for choosing me to be the auditory backdrop for whatever you have decided to do today. Welcome to Take It With a Grain of Salt, brought to you by Twisted Fork Lifestyle, where we have been twisting your perception of food for over 8 years. Welcome to Take It With a Grain of Salt. I'm here with Foluke Arthurton, and she's with K2K Fit. Welcome.
Hi guys.
I want her to give you a synopsis of what K2K Fit is before we dive into her plant based journey.
K2K Fit is my company. It's an acronym, or it's a shortened version of Keys to Kingdom Fit. And it's a faith-based lifestyle company. And when you search me on like Instagram, it's at K2K Fit underscore. And the underscore is there because uh, we delve into different aspects or different elements that make us whole humans, right? Our mind, our body, and our spirit. And so with body, we have Pilates, yoga, and strength training classes, flexibility classes. With our spirit, we have Bible studies or pastoral care. And with our mind, we have chats or health talks, where we can do either one-on-one for like 30 minutes or 45 minutes, or we can do family or couples discussions. So yeah, it's a lifestyle. Yeah.
I love it. And I came introduced to her several years ago. And what have always drawn me with Foluke is her energy, especially when she did the session with the kids. How long did that last? Was it about a week?
Oh my goodness. You mean at the Twisted Fork event?
Oh no, not at the Twisted Fork. When you went and did a week long, I guess this was maybe last year when you did.
Oh, the week of worship.
Yes.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. So the week of worship, there I was asked to be the featured pastor for the week. And so that was at the South Bend Junior Academy, which is one of our uh church schools. Specific our specific denomination would be Seventh Day Adventist, or yeah, Seventh Day Adventist. So it was the kindergartners up to like seventh graders. They had like a morning devotional, like so they had like morning chapel before they go to class. So we were able to have what I like to coin myself an interactive chapel, and we had an amazing, amazing time. Amazing time.
I love that. And I wanted to talk to her about her plant based journey
Mhm.
because I didn't know that she hasn't always been plant based. And to go into the history of who she is and finding out the ebb and flows of her health journey, I had to have her on to talk about that. So go ahead and get started on what made you even decide to go into the direction of plant based and how was you introduced to it?
Okay. So again, I did not grow up plant-based. I grew up my formative years, I grew up in the Virgin Islands, St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, and I was raised by my grandmother, who was an agriculturalist. So she raised animals, and she grew our fruits and vegetables. And so we basically lived in this kind of like self-sustained uh, compound of we get our fruits, vegetables, and our food from the backyard. And when I moved permanently to the United States, um, more supermarket like interaction with food became like the norm, my new norm. Because in New York, it's limited space, especially in the city, it's a metropolis. So I started to grow accustomed to going to the supermarket for things versus just going to the backyard. Flash forward, becoming a college student and going into my youth and young adulthood, into having my own apartment. I was just seeing so many health deficits happening in our brown and black communities that I was like, well, that's not something that I would want for myself. I can remember one time seeing on the local news a woman had purchased a fillet of fish, specifically codfish, from like a really well-known supermarket chain. And I'm not going to say the name, but we know it well. And she went home and she put the fillet in a pan to cook. She stepped away from the pan and she came back and she cut the fillet, and a worm appeared out of this fillet. And she took the fillet back to the store, back to the supermarket, but she was wearing like a spy cam on her glasses. And she opened up the package to take it back to the fish market where she got it in the supermarket, and the employee was like so shocked. He was like, "Oh," and right then and there, in my very early young adulthood, I was like, yeah, I'm going to pass on this, because that really kind of took me back to living in New York City, like in the 80s and the 90s, and remembering my mom opening up like cans of tuna, and there would still be metal wound in the tuna can, like in the tuna, in the flesh there'll be
Mm,
metal from the cannery,
mm.
and or opening an unopened jar of tomato sauce, right, to make like spaghetti, and there would be glass in the unopened jar of tomato sauce. And thinking, having my own home now and having control of what I choose to put in my body, because I just felt like, oh, well, these companies and these factories, they don't give two whats about the customers, but I have to
Be
care.
conscious. Yeah.
Yeah, and be conscientious about what I'm putting in my body. And so there started my plant-based journey in my own home. Mhm.
Absolutely love that because most direction that I come in contact with is either a religious thought process or an overtone of society. And I love the fact
Mhm.
that your journey was personal. It was because of this is cause and effect. Like, this is what I
Mhm.
want for my body, and then this
Mhm.
is what I'm choosing for my health. And going
Yeah.
back to when you were younger, you had talked to me about being very conscious of what you did and did not put in your body based
Mhm.
on being a model.
Yeah. So, like, in my I would say my preteens to my teens, a majority of that time I was an aspiring model and I was a working dancer. I was in, pre-professional programs to professional programs, and depending upon what projects I had would dictate my nutrition. And when I went to college, undergrad at the University of Maryland at College Park, I would adjust my nutrition based on what projects I had to do that year or that semester. So if I had to do more modern dance or more African or hip hop dance, I would need more muscle, because sometimes as dancers, we kind of like push, pull, or pick each other up. And so that just required more weight training. If I had to do more modeling, I would, you know, do do more, do less weight training, more cardio, and only do like ballet. And so that so that that kinesthetic change, or those kinesthetic changes would change me physiologically, but then also my nutrition, or what I was eating. Was I eating more protein, less carbs? What kind of carbs was I eating? That really helped me to change my body for living in those two worlds, or just existing in those two worlds.
And I absolutely love that because as you know, God is amazing how He adds things to our life in the beginning, knowing
Mhm.
where we're going to go and knowing the journey that we're going to have.
Mm-hmm.
because the people that you have impacted over the last few years, just with the health and your classes, all of that knowledge and all of that experience has helped in that exponentially. And I think knowledge is great, but that experience and that wisdom is just completely different for the people that you deal with. So, how has, I guess, the things that you've done in the past, how's that helped now when you do your classes uh, with your students? And the,
I I would say now, oh, well, now with my students, now being like what I call like an adult, um, I've taken a lot of my dance training into my classes. So I'll give like a variety of classes, whether it'll be like straight traditional weight training and or there'll be like a mixture of of like cardio movements, like quote unquote dance movements, whether I'm teaching like a cardio calypso class or if I'm teaching a Pilates class or a yoga class, that I really lean on my dance uh, education in those classes. Um, Now, in terms of like nutrition and things like that, or any lifestyle changes, I will impart like some more so now, because of the current state of our nation. I'm imparting more uh, mental health nuggets, more encouraging words, more words of thought and uh, I want to say biblical principles, but biblical principles that are digestible for a variety of faith beliefs or lifestyle beliefs, if that makes sense. Um,
and I definitely love the verbiage of being digestible
mhm,
because we don't sometimes consider the education, whether about food or mental health, being palatable to those
mhm,
who are new on this journey.
mhm,
And since
mhm,
you have been completely integrated with the understanding of health since the beginning, the fact that you're even conscious of making it palatable
mhm,
for your students, I think is awesome because we don't think about that, and we want people to be on this health journey, and we have people that have no idea where to even start or where to even be conscious. They know they're just now understanding that what I eat has an impact on how I feel,
mhm,
has an
mhm,
impact on how I think,
mhm,
and being able to be guided through that
mhm.
and understanding, okay, I know this is what I need to do. How do I get started? That being said, how do people connect with you when they want to do their health journey, especially being able to do it from the comfort of their home, which I think is absolutely amazing. So, I guess kind of walk me through a little bit of what you do helping people on their health journey and then how they can connect with you to do that.
Okay, so right now I'm hosting Zoom classes, early morning Zoom classes at like 6:30 to about like 7:15, 7:20, and that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I have 6:30 Mondays, that's going to be lower body workouts, Wednesdays upper body, and Friday is flexibility mobility. I have an evening class on Tuesday evenings, and that's 6:30 p.m. Tuesdays. And so that is a yoga Pilates class, that's total body. And and in that evening class we meet once a week. So if you're interested in taking any of my Zoom classes, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday evening, you can feel free to, uh, you know what? I'm going to give the information over to Desiree, and she's going to put it on her platform. She's going to put it on her platform, and you'll be able to reach me there. I'll give Desiree the class schedule, and with the class schedule, there should be an active link. Um, and yeah, yeah, I'm going to pass it on. But you can follow me on Instagram at K2K Fit underscore. So I'm there. I'm also on Facebook, Foluke Arthurton, first name, last name. I'm there as well. And yeah,
And
yeah, or email me at healthnista@gmail.com.
love Health Nista. Absolutely love that. I am so grateful for you even taking the time to come out and talk to us. Before you leave, I do
Mm,
want to ask you about your about being plant-based. Do you
mm.
think that it has added to the physical, because you're definitely into the health industry, working out and that kind of
Mm.
thing. Do you think being plant based has added to your physical ability? Do you think it has made a difference in your mental and physical health?
Oh yeah. Okay. So the first time I noticed the difference was in college. And I noticed that I was happier when I was plant-based than when I was like heavy meat eating, like when my diet or my nutrition, I would say, was more meat-based, meat and carbs. I just felt lighter. I felt like I could move faster. And so that was for me a definite, like a memory, having like, oh, I feel happier this way. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I would say like now, hmm, 20 something years later, uh, I do feel a difference. I do feel a difference when I'm eating more clean. My body responds faster in terms of like staying more lean and staying more healthy, especially my immune system. My thoughts aren't as clouded, and my attention is more sharp. When if I'm not eating as clean, I can't even compare. I think probably the only thing that I would say, like, if I'm eating irresponsibly, like snacking too much sugar, too much salt, or maybe there's some like dairy in there, I do feel my digestion, my digestion is different, and that does impact or impede my mood. Um, and it does impact and impede or affect my body. So, you know, we want to be as responsible and careful and kind to our bodies, our vessels, right? The Bible calls the body a temple, a vessel where the Holy Spirit dwelleth in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to make sure that these vessels that we've been gifted, right? Uh, that we're being responsible with. I like to say, being plant-based is like someone has given you a gift, right? God has given us a gift, which is this body, and we're taking care of this gift, right? Think about an heirloom that you got from a relative or a friend, and it's a gift that you cherish so much. So you're being very careful with it, right?
Right.
Versus a gift that you don't really like and they never gave you the gift receipt so you could take it back. So so now So now you gotta like stick it all the way in the back of the closet, or you're like, all right, I can't give it away to Salvation Army or something like that because they might ask, so
Right,
where's
right. So
that?
just gotta do
You gotta
something
be
with
like, oh,
it, right?
it's right here. Let me just yeah. So we don't want to treat our bodies like that. We want to be careful. We want to be responsible. We want to be gentle and kind with our bodies. And I promise you, when we do that, um, your life changes, and you'll thank yourself for it later.
And inward and outward it'll show, because
Yes.
her, I know, and she won't say it, but her skin is amazing. Even with going through, and I met her and I was like, just physically internal and outside, it's just, it's great. And you can tell that there's a difference. You can tell that there's a difference in, of course, everyone says genetics, but not even that. You can just tell a difference in I don't know how is it not necessarily a glow, but with your body, your skin looks healthy. You've ever seen
Mhm,
someone their skin
mhm,
just looks healthy and nourished and
mhm,
hydrated, which
mhm.
I'm sure has a lot to do with water and alkaline, which
Yeah,
is beneficial. But it's
right.
just I think those things are so important. And it's special when you do the things that you're telling
Mhm,
people to do.
mhm.
It's beneficial because they can see it. And we
Right.
will definitely have her and her information on all of our social medias. And you will be able to follow her classes and as well as connect with her on a personal level if you
Mhm.
have any questions regarding your health or your temple.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you so much. And connect with twistedforklifestyle.com for her information as well as the classes and to keep updated with us. Come back and see us every Wednesday at 6 p.m. And I'm your host, Desiree Flanoy. Thank you so much for joining us on Take It With a Grain of Salt. Brought to you by Twisted Fork Lifestyle, where we have been twisting your perception of food for the last 8 years. If you ever want to connect with any of our guests or leave us a question, a comment, a critique, or even one of your favorite natural remedies, you can reach us at twistedforklifestyle.com. Thank you again and have an absolutely amazing evening.